Let me get this straight. You think that
Sonic Forces was a good game?
I do. And I'm tired of pretending it's not.
Originally, I wanted to do with this video something where I took like all the common complaints about this game and put them under intense scrutiny to be like, that's a stupid complaint, or no, you're completely wrong, or straight up making that up, or pretty sure you just suck at the game, dude, or yeah, like, you're right, but it's not that big a deal, so I don't know why you're nitpicking so much, and stuff like that.
With seeing some people talk about them on the internet, some of the reasons they come up with as evidence that these games aren't good baffle me. Like, their tolerance for challenge, failure, or even legitimate issues drops dramatically when playing Sonic games in general. Similarly, it's like their standards for what constitutes a good game rise unreasonably high.
But then I realized that to do that, I'd have to watch a bunch of videos or read articles trashing the game, and I don't want to do that, because I just get really pissed off, and I don't want to subject myself to that, because I don't like being angry. Could have fooled me, I know, right? Honestly, the things people say in complaint about this game just kind of blow my mind. Like, I can't find the tweet anymore because it's super old and Twitter is a hellscape of eternal suffering, so feel free to not believe me. But I swear to you, I once saw someone say that Sonic games are uniquely bad because they trick people into playing them wrong, in response to a clip of some IGN dipstick boosting off a platform and dying. This is the caliber of criticism people think is reasonable to levy against Sonic in this day and age. Instead of pointing out the real existing flaws that actually do hinder the game, they instead say stupid stuff like that, unironically claiming it's the game's fault for tricking them into being bad at it. And one criticism I saw just lives rent-free in my mind forever now because it's actually psychotic. The criticism was, Sonic Forces levels are bad because they are too linear. Which, what the hell does that even mean? First of all, why is being linear a bad thing? And also, does this not imply an equal but opposite criticism that a game can be not linear enough? And are you trying to imply that previous Sonic games are somehow not linear? I don't understand what you think the word linear means. I don't understand why you think something being linear is a bad thing, or how it somehow only applies to Sonic Forces and not every single other Sonic game ever made. That complaint, like most complaints about Sonic Forces, are just completely insane and are just thrown out without any real thought put into supporting the argument. It's just some insane wrong thing stated as objective fact with no supporting evidence or explanation that I'm just expected to mindlessly agree with as a matter of course. So trying to hold these criticisms to some kind of constructive logical standard is just a fool's errand on my part anyway. So instead, I'm going to fight negativity with positivity and just do a video where I gush about all the great things about this game and why I love it so much. To fight the tide of hours worth of hating on this game, I shall contribute 1 hour of me loving on this game. I'm making such a difference. Okay, so this is gonna be super unstructured. Let's start with the easy stuff. This soundtrack is amazing. I mean, that almost doesn't even count as praise when it comes to Sonic games anymore. Sonic games always have great music. It's like the one thing everyone agrees on, that Sonic game soundtracks knock it out of the park. First of all, Infinite's theme is just straight fire. I could listen to this and then bury the light back to back and be carried by the exact same emotional fulfillment from both songs.
When everything you know has come and collision with dying, rising high, only scars remain of the world. We'll find in the ashes, souls in the sun. When there's no one left to carry, this is an illusion. Open up your eyes, there's pain. I can't resist, but that's what it takes to be infinite.
It kind of bums me out that no one did a cover of the full song Like, everyone just did a cover of the short 2-minute version they posted on YouTube, and they just did it for the sake of the meme. No one did a cover of the full 4-minute actual song. Little V kind of did, but that one is practically incomprehensible as a cover because he changed the composition so much. But this song is actually amazing. I also really like Fist Bump. It's energetic and uplifting and positive and never fails to bring a smile on my face every time it plays during the game, which it does that kind of a lot.
Together we can show the world what we can do. You are next to me and I'm next to you. Push me on through until the battle's won. No one's gonna give something to us. Into each other we put our trust. Standing united after the fight is done.
I wouldn't put it up there with Live and Learn or Open Your Heart, but it's not trying to be like those songs. It does remind me a lot of We Can from Sonic Heroes, though.
Look out down below. Sonic is on the go. Can't stop this party till we save the world. This time we're not alone. We've got some friends along. And as a team we can become even stronger.
Which is another cheesy song of pure, adorable, good vibes that it's almost impossible to listen to without grinning like a doof. I also do like how the song lyrics works equally well from both Sonic and the Rookie's POV, which enforces how in sync they are in their partnership during the game. The only way they could have made this song better is if it had been a duet. The credit song always took me majorly by surprise. I wasn't really expecting a slow, melodic, almost somber, but ceaselessly hopeful and encouraging credit song like this.
You have not lost a thing, whatever may come. The light of hope is always shining there in your heart. You've not lost a thing, whatever you do. Just know that your tomorrow will be waiting for you.
They didn't advertise this song anywhere as part of the marketing, and it's a completely original piece that isn't reused anywhere in the game. It comes out of nowhere in the best way. Depending on your emotional state, it's a song that might even stand a chance of making you tear up a little bit. Right there, this game has 3 big star of the show image songs for Infinite, Sonic and the Rookie, and the world in general. I feel so spoiled. And then you get into the songs that play during the actual levels themselves, and the hits just keep on coming. It says something that modern Sonic's levels have probably the most conventional tracks. You could put tracks like Lost Valley, Egg Gate, Luminous Forest, Sunset Heights, or Network Terminal over levels from other Sonic games, and it'd fit pretty well. Here, watch. That's also to say nothing of my favorite modern Sonic track in the game, Metropolitan Highway. How does this not get you pumped as funk? And probably the most underrated track in the game, Mortar Canyon. Heck, this track tells a story all on its own. It's friggin' fantastic. And yet somehow these tracks are the most boring ones in the game. That's crazy, right? But then listen to classic Sonic's tracks, and these songs are a ton of fun. I love how they incorporate chiptune Genesis-esque sounds as part of the song. It really shows this clashing style of a character out of his world, tearing through a world that's been ripped apart, and putting it back together again with that old school charm. They're so bouncy and upbeat, bringing a bit of the manic flair to the proceedings. I love it. And when you get to the later levels, it almost feels like the Genesis sound chip is struggling, like classic Sonic isn't really supposed to be here. Which is, yeah, that's appropriate. And then there's the Rookies levels tracks, which just, gosh dang, I love it. They're beautiful, fantastic, superb, amazing, wonderful. I absolutely adore that every single one of them is a lyric song. It makes the Rookies tracks stand out as unique compared to Sonic's, especially considering the lyrics of the song, which tie into the Rookies' story as they progress through the game. It almost comes off like the rookie is saying or singing these things to themselves, like they're insecure and nervous and unsure about their ability. So they're letting it get the best of them, and they're muttering to themselves about their uncertainty, or trying to keep themselves motivated to keep pushing forward. Which comes back in a brilliant way when in one of the levels where the Rookie and Sonic team up, and it plays Fist Bump. We're already used to hearing the lyrics during Rookie levels, but during the levels where they team up with Sonic, the songs don't have any lyrics. Like when the Rookie isn't by themselves, they keep their thoughts quiet and don't vocalize their little pep talks. But then this stage happens and it's this loud, bombastic track that's belting pure positivity. And it's like, is Sonic the one singing this to the Rookie? I say yes. Storytelling via soundtrack alone, baby. I also love all the remix songs for the Episode Shadow DLC, taking some of Shadow's best hits and giving them a new spin. I actually prefer the remix over the original White Jungle. I could go either way on supporting me, but the remix is still a total jam fest. Sorry, I didn't describe any of these songs as bangers or said that they slap. Is that giving away how old I am? Speaking of Episode Shadow, let's start there. I really sincerely love that we get to play as Shadow in this game. I'm kinda bummed about it being DLC, I think it should just be part of the base game, but they probably made it after finishing the main game. Plus it was released for free, so it's not a big deal. Just definitely not a big fan of these being DLC though, they should definitely have been included as part of the disc. But regardless, it's just, I'm so happy to get to play as a character who isn't Sonic for the first time in like 10 years. It probably says something about how low my standards are that getting to play as a Sonic Recolor who has the exact same gameplay as Sonic is still enough to boost this game significantly for me. Just because I'm so happy I'm playing as a different character again. Forces gives us 2 non-Sonic characters to play as. Seriously, Sega, stop listening to those Sonic and his stupid friends LOL morons. The people who actually buy your games want to play as characters aside from Sonic. Give my boy Silver his own game, he deserves it. I really like all the Episode Shadow levels. He only gets 3, but they're a lot of fun. The 3D Sonic games are no strangers to reusing stages with slight rearrangements, and I think that's done really well here. Shadow's levels are almost a hard mode version of Sunset Heights, Luminous Forest, and Guardian Rock, with different obstacles and enemy layouts that demand a bit more precision and awareness. He even gets his own set of collectibles, which it would have been so easy for them to be lazy and not give those to him since they're just little extra levels, but you get the excuse to replay them again a minimum of 3 times each. They're also genuinely difficult to get an S rank on. It's a lot of fun and suits Shadow's character to be a mild step up in difficulty compared to the original game stages. On the topic of levels, we get a nice variety of them. Green Hill, Chemical Plant, City, Death Egg, Mystic Jungle, Metropolis, and Eggman's Fortress. 7 levels with a minimum of 3 stages each, 1 per character. And some of them don't overlap. Arsenal Pyramid takes place in the Green Hill level set, but it looks completely different from the other Green Hill stages. And most of it takes place in an internal location. They definitely weren't skimping here. Like I said, reusing levels is an old staple of 3D Sonic, with the original Sonic Adventure having 10 levels that would all get reused for 6 campaigns, which each character getting a different slice of the level to work with that suited their unique gameplay. All the way up to the likes of Sonic Heroes, which also had 7 levels. And I love what a spectacle a lot of these levels are. There's a lot of little details and activity you might not notice if you're just blitzing through. It's a hard balancing act, making levels that look satisfying and have clarity if you're just rushing through them at Sonic speed, but also including enough attention to detail that there's things to catch your notice if you slow down to smell the roses. There's this post on Japanese Sonic channel from the art director who talks about these. I'll link a Google translated version of the page in the description. The Google translation is not the best, but this snippet in particular calls attention to itself. You might not notice it if you play casually, but since the place that Sonic and the other such characters live isn't the same as the place actual humans live, the English language is not used in the background. Sometimes numbers are used, but the background is a series of simple lettering, giving the impression of an attempt at language. What a fascinating little tidbit of world building, completely hidden away as a background element people aren't even going to notice. Makes perfect sense that a civilization populated entirely by anthropomorphic animals, without any humans living around them, would have a more simplistic or even non-existent written language. Thus their signs would use simple symbols or characters instead. From the tiniest of details like that to big exciting battles between fleets of warships overhead, a lot of thought was put into the art design of these levels. Also, something I noticed while getting footage for this is you can see the bridge where you have the boss fight with Metal Sonic later on in the background during this level. The stages are so well designed and put together. Reminds me of Boletaria and Demon Souls. And the addition of new collectibles makes replaying the levels a lot of fun. Sonic's been using collectibles since Unleashed and has been sticking to the red star coins since Colors. I've always really loved these since they encourage exploring the different routes or discovering new shortcuts you might not have known about the first time through a level, but you're going to have to find it to get that last dang red coin. Forces adds the number rings and silver moons in addition to the red coins, which are a great inclusion and I hope they stick around. They similarly encourage exploration, especially considering they're usually laid out on completely different routes in a level. You're unlikely to be able to get all 5 red coins, the number rings, and the silver moons all during one run through a level. But they also demand a bit more skillful execution to collect compared to the red rings. The number rings have to be collected in the proper order. If you get them out of sequence, you lose the remaining ones. But sometimes they can be laid out in such a cheeky way to really make you stop and think about what order you have to get them in, instead of just mindly hitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a straight line without even worrying about it. And the silver moons are on a timer. Once you collect one, the rest will blink out of existence in a few seconds, so you have to get the other 4 as quick as you can. And the level design sometimes uses this to get you out, and it makes you want to pause before collecting the first silver moon, and think about how you're going to hit the other ones too, because you know you might miss out on them if you mess up and don't get them all in a row. I appreciate these collectibles being added in to provide that bit of optional challenge. If you want to just blast through the game as fast as you can, and then complain about the game being too short, nothing's stopping you from doing that. But if you want gameplay that tests your knowledge of the levels and gameplay mechanics, you get these optional little bonus challenges too. Kirby does the same thing. Speaking of optional challenges, you also get the secret and extra stages, which are usually 2D obstacle courses that test a pretty specific platforming challenge. And some of these can be rough to get an S rank on. Again, it's an optional challenge that's there if the player wants it. And you can't even unlock these until you collect a certain number of red star coins, so it's like the game is rewarding you for exploring the levels and finding these collectibles so well by providing even more challenging content to pit yourself against. Also, the S ranks in this game are no joke. I'm glad they finally removed the outdated live system from Sonic. Replacing it with the score penalty from dying during a stage is a much better method. If you die during a level, you can kiss that S rank goodbye. Yeah, and good luck getting anything above a B rank if you're, for example, just holding down the boost button to blitz through the level without bothering to collect rings, kill enemies, or find collectibles. Because some of these score requirements aren't messing around. Speed is a big contributor, but you're not getting an S rank by virtue of hitting the goal in under a minute 30 for most of these. And we're still not even done talking about optional challenges because the missions! Oh, you got an S rank on that mission? Yeah, well, not good enough. Clear it in under a minute. And the final boss is a challenge of clearing it in under 3 minutes. Yeah, good luck with that, idiot. These optional challenges in particular are great because clearing them gives you new avatar customization options, which is the best reward. And now let's talk about the avatar system because, oh my god, I can make a Sonic OC in this game and it's awesome. I mean, talk about every Sonic fan's dream come true. We literally get to make a fan character and have him fight alongside Sonic in this game. It's like I can't even handle this. The only bad thing you can possibly say against this is there's not enough of it. We need more species options, more eye types, more hairstyles. Gosh dang, I hope they bring this back and expand on it in a future game, because it's fantastic. But even with what's in here, there's so much creative potential with the various unlockable clothing options you get throughout the game. I have my avatar collection completely filled out on every copy of this game I own, because I just love making new avatars, and this is so much fun. This is a bird who was roboticized and is now a loyal agent of the Eggman Empire. This is my real Sonic fan character I made as a teenager named Matt. He has fire powers, and is the child of Silver and Blaze from an alternate timeline, because that was cringe as hell. This is Daisy. She's going to bust through Eggman's army of robots so she can get back to ripping and tearing the denizens of hell with her beloved owner. This is a bounce pad who has attained sapience. My absolute favorite thing about the avatar system in this game is none of the clothing options are restricted by gender. Anyone of any gender can wear any article of clothing, which is just... I can't even believe that merits praise, because why isn't that just the normal standard in every game? Even games as new as Demon's Souls still have entire sets of equipment you can't wear at all if you're not the right gender. And then games like friggin' Skyrim change the model of the armor so it looks completely different depending on what gender you are. It's like, no! WTF! Let me wear a dress and go spinny spinny, damn it. But of course, Sonic doesn't give a crap and lets you wear whatever you want. This is my cutie Trap Bunny, who wears a gothic Lolita dress and he looks adorable. This is my Tuxedo Dog. She's going to a wedding to marry her girlfriend once the war is over and she's majestic as hell. No arbitrary restrictions. Anyone can wear anything and look like whatever they want, and why aren't more people talking about this? Obviously, the best part about the avatar system, though, is how it plays into the story. The way the avatar is used in the story just warms the cockles of my old jaded little heart. Imagine being a kid and playing this game and being presented with the option to make a custom character. Obviously, most kids are going to try and make themselves, but a wolf or a hedgehog or a bird or whatever. Total self-insert. It's the natural instinct any kid would have. And then what happens during the story of the game? Sonic spends the entire time praising and supporting and encouraging your character. Imagine how sweet that is. Being a child and making yourself in the game and then hearing Sonic say he thinks you're cool and he believes in you and he knows you can do anything you set your mind to. It's just so wholesome and amazing, and my inner child is bawling his dumb little eyes out during every single one of these moments. Hey look, a transition, now we're talking about the story. The story of Sonic Forces is great, and I don't think it's an accident that it was released after the Archie comics got horrifically murdered. I don't think it's a hot take to say the Resistance is basically a game-canonized interpretation of the Freedom Fighters, with some Rebel Alliance from Star Wars sprinkled in. I think it's a fun idea. It reminds me that despite teaming up to save the world pretty often, this cast usually isn't this organized. Normally they're always just kind of doing their own thing, but in the same location and while pointed at the same direction. In this, the situation is dire enough that they need to cut the bullspit and come together under a banner with actual logistics and structure, because they can't just rest on their laurels depending on Sonic to be an insane, omni-powerful god beast who can single-handedly destroy an entire armada by himself before the game even really starts. I think it's kind of silly that Knuckles is like the leader of the Resistance, and it just kind of further cements my conclusion that Sonic has no idea what to do with his character. But Amy as what's basically a morale officer, Espio leading covert strike teams, Vector and Charmy running information extraction ops behind enemy lines, Silver over here being basically Cable, Rouge doing her typical spy shtick, And then once they show up again, Shadow and Sonic being the tip of the spear so they can finally start pushing back, Tails providing tech support to get them focused on hitting targets that will actually make a difference to the war effort instead of just desperately trying to survive, and of course a story about the Rookie emerging as a rank-and-file face in the crowd, driven into a desperate fight or flight situation by circumstance, who rises to the occasion and becomes a hero who can stand shoulder to shoulder with Sonic himself, couldn't really happen without this kind of setup. Obviously, Cream the Rabbit couldn't be in the Resistance because she'd single-handedly obliterate the entire Eggman empire and make the rest of them seem completely redundant. It also does a lot for Eggman, letting him be a legit threat. It reminds me of how in Rogue One, stormtroopers are portrayed as being an actual serious concern that can completely devastate normal rebel troops when there's no Jedi running around. Without Sonic, freak of nature that he is, Eggman can just conquer an entire continent and run the world into the ground practically unopposed. It really isn't implied that Infinite and the Phantom Ruby are responsible for this, just the fact that Sonic is out of the picture is enough to leave the board clear for Eggman to dominate. Where's Gun? How about Eggman can wreck shop through an entire military base by himself? So I'm pretty sure he can hold off any kind of assault from Gun with an army of robots and cheating magic gemstones to back him up. Or maybe Gun just doesn't have jurisdiction on whatever furry continent this game takes place on or something. That's the one thing where I'm like, this game has some weird, dumb word choices that it goes with. This clearly isn't the entire world. This is just one landmass. We've seen the globe of the Sonic world, and it's not like a Pangea. Also, classic Sonic isn't from another dimension, he's from an alternate timeline. Although, same difference, I guess.
You're that Sonic from
Another dimension of time.
aren't you?
Also, side note, you all know that Japanese is a much more vague language than English, right? Like, you know that Mario levels are called World 1, World 2, etc.? It's not because Mario is going to a different planet or dimension when he finishes blowing up the castle. The Japanese word sekai might translate to world, but it doesn't mean the same thing as the planetary body colloquially referred to as the world. You all understand that? Yeah? We all accept that the translation for the Sonic series has always been lacking, and that certain cultural ideas don't fully cross the language barrier and ideas can be lost in translation. We get that? Okay, good. I like that this game takes place on a landmass that's only populated by furries. It's nice after getting so many games focusing on the human-populated civilizations of this planet, we finally get a better look into the kind of places that we used to only hear about in the pages of the Genesis game manuals. I don't know if this is specifically supposed to be South Island, it seems like it's meant to be considering Green Hill is here, but if it is, then I really like that. South Island was long stated to be a moving landmass that travels across the water, which is why it was off the coast of San Francisco, or whatever this is supposed to be, back in Sonic Adventure 2. But now it seems like South Island might have grown. I mean, hey, if it's an island that moves around, maybe it crashed into other smaller islands, or barged up against a bigger landmass and had new extensions added to it over time. Or maybe during Sonic Unleashed when the entire planet was getting ripped apart, that probably presented a lot of opportunity for South Island. They get all kinds of messed up and expanded. Like, for example, maybe crashing into West Side Island, and now Green Hill, Casino Night Zone, now overtaken by an expansive jungle, and Chemical Plant's Oil Rig Islands are now all part of the same landmass? Eh? Yeah. It's almost like you can come up with a lot of fun world-building theories about things if you think about things more than not at all. Anyway, I like the furries. It's fun to imagine that this is the kind of devastation and conflict that was going on in the background during games like Sonic 1 and 2, which were set in places populated by animals, but still clearly had the capacity for industry. There's civilization, there's buildings and construction and bridges, but since it's made by animals, who are constantly hounded by the likes of Teddy Roosevelt over here, it's a lot more restrained than the human cities we've seen in Adventure and Unleashed. These critters are part of nature, and so they build in tandem with it, not bulldozing over it. But also, it isn't some hokey, cliche city made out of tree houses and boring junk like that. Makes me wonder about the Sonic world and its inhabitants. Is there a tourism of animals going to human cities and vice versa? Amy is stated to live in an apartment in Station Square. Is that unusual? The people of Station Square don't seem to give it a second glance. Maybe animals immigrate to live with humans all the time, but humans never go live with animals? Makes sense to me. I imagine the animal civilization has a lot less amenities. Heck, as we've established, they don't even have a real language. I like thinking about stuff like that. It's a lot more interesting than the generic trite as hell, "Oh, they're from another dimension" cop-out bullcrap like that. The Sonic world is strange, interesting, and expansive, where Anthro-furries live alongside feral critters like Flickies and share a kinship with them as friends since they're both just animals, living in a separate civilization compared to humans. Makes me wish they still included the detail of animals popping out of Eggman robots after you bust them up, but Forces still sneaks in the old animal capsule from the Genesis games. It even has the Resistance fighters trapped in them alongside the Flicky critters. Lucky them they were trapped with their member of the Resistance to keep their spirits up while they waited for rescue. They're the lucky ones, better to be captured for a while in this, rather than being mowed down in the fields of battle. Oh yeah, by the way, an unbelievable amount of furries die in this game. The war between the Eggman Empire and the Resistance takes place almost entirely off-screen, but that's not a bad thing if you know, have an imagination. There's so much radio chatter during the missions about the Resistance troops going into combat against Eggman robots and just getting slaughtered. It really goes to show that Sonic is deific compared to the average woodland critter. Operation Big Wave in particular sounds like an off-screen horror story. Imagine the Normandy D-Day invasion, but it failed. And also it was between robots and furries. And in Mortar Canyon, there's fleet battles between battleships, which is like my favorite thing. I utterly adore big space battleships like this. And oh my gosh, so many furries die in this game. The death toll of Sonic Forces must eclipse every other Sonic game by a factor of at least 2. Station Square got flooded, resulting in thousands of deaths, while 80% of the Resistance forces were killed during Operation Big Wave, and it was stated they had the advantage in numbers. Gun's Military Island got blown up, while the flagship of the Resistance got shot down with a direct hit to the command deck and went down out of the sky. How many got out in escape pods? Probably not many that weren't also shot down on the way out. So many furries die in this game, you guys. It's awesome. I cannot believe the battles in this game, the war between the Resistance furries and Skynet as Flip Eggman robots, doesn't get more fan art dedicated to it. People should be drawing war murals dedicated to these battles, they're fantastic. And so much of it happening off-screen is a benefit as far as I'm concerned. I'm a big fan of stories that have what I call fanfic potential. Stuff like Dragon Ball, which has big time jumps and off-screen training sequences, the kind of stuff that gets expanded on as filler for the anime adaptation. But I prefer leaving that stuff unshown, so we can imagine whatever we want. What happened during the 6 months after Sonic was killed and Eggman forces took over 99% of the continent? What was Tails doing? He wasn't part of the Resistance until Sonic came back, yet he was still dedicated to putting a stop to Eggman. Was Shadow mind-tripping in virtual reality for the entirety of those 6 months? It's all left up to your imagination, and more importantly, your submissions to Archive of Our Own. Also, I always forget to talk about the voice acting in this game. Everyone in this game is killing it. Roger is still the definitive voice of Sonic as far as I'm concerned, and Mike doesn't even need to be mentioned. And dudes, holy crap, Liam O'Brien as Infinite is fantastic. He's practically playing him as Grimoire Vice's Jackal persona, and it's superb.
I don't think anyone has ever accused me of being a little bitch before.
So much personality in his performance. Even if I didn't like the game, it'd have been worth it to get a character like Infinite out of it, because goodness, he's awesome. And I always forget this is Colleen O'Shaughnessy's first time playing Tails in a game. She'd only done the character in the Sonic Boom spin-off material and cartoon show. This is her first time as the real Miles Prower. And her voice suits the character so perfectly, I completely forget that fact every single time. I liked Kate Higgins' performance, but I have to admit she sounded like Tails was smoking some Marlboros off-screen by the end. Just like how Roger Craig Smith finally brought a voice that fits as the definitive Sonic in my mind, Colleen brings my favorite character of the series to life in a perfect way. And the fact is, most of these actors have been playing these characters during their appearance on the Sonic Boom cartoon, and you can tell they're professional voice actors who know their craft, because they're giving a completely different performance, making the characters sound distinct. They're not just coming into the booth, putting on the same voice they did for that cartoon for 2 seasons, and walking out to get their paycheck. They gave a performance that suits the differences of how the characters are in this game compared to the show. That's a mark of a true voice actor, that they can give a different performance for the same character when it's appropriate to do so.
I
I am the Knight. I am Batman!
Wish they'd give Classic Sonic a voice actor though, to be honest. Like, are they just gonna keep doing this silent cartoon thing for all of his future appearances? If they keep this up with Mania 2 in the Genesis-esque style, I guess that makes sense. But I feel like if they want to include him in other modern games, it's just gonna get awkward. I don't think it'd be a big deal to just get Roger Craig Smith to do a different, younger voice for him. I just want a discussion between modern and classic Sonic where they're like, oh man, that's stuff on Angel Island, am I right? Crazy times. Or having the characters muse on the fact that because classic Sonic and classic Eggman were given knowledge of their future, it's completely altered the course of their timeline. Like, Eggman knows that trying to team up with Chaos, or looking into his grandpa's journal, or using Dark Gaia now, won't work out, so he probably isn't gonna try those plans. So the stories of Adventure and Onward is just totally locked out for classic Sonic, and yet he has awareness of their events. Which would mean if he ever does meet his timeline's version of Shadow, it's gonna be super weird, since he already met a future alternate version of Shadow twice now. And he's far more powerful after his experiences in Generations and Mania compared to modern Sonic during that same point in the time, because he took out Chaos Zero in 1 homing attack, whereas it took modern Sonic 3 homing attacks. So classic Sonic is stronger than modern Sonic had been during that same point in time. It's fun thinking about wacky timeline shenanigans like this. It's why everyone loves the Cell arc in Dragon Ball. I actually find classic Sonic's gameplay interesting to analyze, because something clearly happened here. Here's the thing people fail to articulate when they say classic Sonic is bad in this game. He has a cap to his momentum when he's running normally. He hits a certain speed, and then he's restricted from going any faster than that. The thing is, his levels were not designed around him having that speed cap, leading to things like this happening. So what's the deal? I have a theory. I think classic Sonic originally didn't have any kind of momentum cap like he does in the final game. I think that classic Sonic moved like he did during Sonic Generations, and they designed his levels accordingly. But then maybe they realized, particularly in his final levels like Death Egg and the Empire Tower, that doing 2D platforming sections with that momentum-based movement style is frustrating and horrible. And there's a lot of platforming in these later classic Sonic levels. I mean, there's not an unreasonable amount of it in the earlier levels too. So in the end, I think they were left with 2 choices. Redesign all of classic Sonic's levels from scratch, or go with the Band-Aid solution of putting the cap on his running momentum so that he'd be less cumbersome to do platforming sections with, and just go back and add bounce pads to some of the curves in the early levels to compensate. Not a surprise which solution they went with. I don't think it's a big deal. Sonic had a momentum cap in Sonic 1, so it's not like it's unprecedented. And Sonic 1 had platforming out the wazoo. I think that's what they were trying to go for here. Classic Sonic and platforming. And besides, the momentum cap is only on classic Sonic's default running. If you do a spin dash, there's no cap. And the drop dash makes building up speed from nothing or hitting the ground running after jumping off or to a platform something that can be achieved with the hold of a button. I wish they'd kept the mechanic from Generations of being able to just spin dash from a dead stop with a single button press, but the inclusion of the drop dash does basically the same thing. The Rookie's gameplay sections are wholly original. They borrow a lot from modern Sonic, of course, but it almost ends up feeling like playing a Ratchet & Clank game with the Wispins and the slower pace. They also have a lot more fully 3D platforming, which modern Sonic with his boost mechanics have made somewhat obsolete. The different routes you can take depending on which Wispin you bring in make for a lot of variety in how players can get through a stage. And fun replay value since you can experiment with which Wispins you like the most, and which provide the most fun traversal mechanics. And then you realize that the Drill Wespin is OP as flunk, and use it for every single boss fight in the game to completely trivialize it. Modern Sonic plays pretty much the same as he's been playing since Sonic Unleashed. It is nice to get back to this style of gameplay after the refreshing departure during Lost World though, and it feels as good as ever. It still provides that blitzing sense of speed that just screams Sonic, but I like that a few levels mess around with that too. Metropolitan Highway is practically designed to be a stage that goes, "Oh, boost to win, huh? Yeah, we'll have fun boosting off the side of the street, idiot." But then you get a level like Mortar Canyon where Sonic can basically friggin' fly across the entire map and it's hysterically awesome. It's just really hard to go wrong with this style of gameplay. It's been flawless since Sonic Rush, and it continues to be quintessential Sonic gameplay. I do think it's weird they removed the grinding from Generations, but the The level design in Forces doesn't really allow for it to be used anyway. The level design in Generations barely allowed for it to be used. But a sequel really shouldn't be removing movement options like that. Aesthetically, I also love how the boost looks in this game. I don't know, it just looks a lot nicer compared to before. I don't have any highfalutin reasoning behind it. I just dig the style. The whole game looks stylish. I love the look of it. It doesn't have the frame rate destroying poly count of Unleashed, but this game just pops. I'm routinely struck by how pretty it is. There's some lighting palettes that aren't my favorite. I think the scenes that have a darker or neutral lighting lend to the graphics strengths a lot better than the bright yellows and oranges of the city environment, for example. But the night scenes in Mystic Jungle, which are dark but with a neon glow, these scenes in Green Hill with neutral lighting, really show how nice these models are. I'm always captivated by this screen of Eggman, it just looks so nice. And of course the scenes in the Metropolitan City are so striking with their stark, bright, white environment, making everyone pop out. Crazy how much the lighting makes a difference for so many of these scenes. Sonic looks completely different under the orange of the city environment compared to the scenes in darker environments. I'm far from an artist, so I don't have any deeper insight into this besides it looks pretty. So sorry if I sound like I'm brushing up against the point but failing to make it here. I also love Sonic's character in this game, because if you pay close enough attention, you can tell Sonic is low-key pissed off like crazy. Like he's murderously angry at Infinite in particular, and it gets really savage sometimes.
Why not? Here dozes the masked clown. Might as well make it for the person who needs one, right? Wrong, loser. The things that can't be defeated are heart, soul, and the bonds of friendship. 3 things you and your counterfeit cronies lack.
Well, savage for Sonic. See, this is how you write a pissed off Sonic. Look, I'm sorry, but Sonic is a dork-ass goober. He's basically a walking can of Pepsi. Sonic can't do legit menacing anger. The most vicious, horrible thing he can call someone is a friendless loser. And yet, despite that, he's still this bottomless well of positivity. He's basically Captain America in this game, supporting the rookie and saying all these nice, encouraging things to the random soldiers over the radio.
We're doomed! We can't hold any longer! You've done plenty. Great job!
Sorry, Sonic. We've done all we can. Good luck out there.
We did plenty already. Leave the rest to us.
Tails even calls him their shining hope during the final boss, and that's just perfect. It really captures how Sonic is the shining icon for this civilization, this hero who has been protecting them from Eggman's industrialization for decades now. They're willing to lay down their lives just to buy Sonic a few minutes of reprieve as he barrels into enemy territory to save the day. And Sonic appreciates them so much, and it's just so pure. Oh, but why isn't Sonic a sad ooh-woo boy after being in prison for 6 months? Because Sonic is an endless perpetual motion machine of pure wholesome, upbeat good times. And any depiction of him that portrays him as a sad ooh-woo boy clearly doesn't understand anything about his character and would be complete trash. Sonic's been through way worse than this anyway. He went through way worse than this last game, for crying out loud. Why wouldn't Sonic be putting on a cocky attitude when confronting his captors to show they aren't getting to him, and a supportive morale-boosting attitude when talking to the Resistance? And I don't mean that like he's putting on a front and hiding some deep underladen trauma or anything like that. Sonic is just like this. What you see is what you get. The only time anything even remotely dark slips out is when he's confronting Infinite in particular, because he's really angry at him. And even that comes out so completely coated in fondue cheese that most of you are probably going to say I'm reading too much into it and it's not clear that Sonic is murderously angry at all. But he is. And you might say, well, why does Infinite seem so into killing Sonic when Shadow was the one who made him never show his face again? Well, first of all, it seems clear that Infinite just has a murder boner for literally everyone. He's just a psycho. He doesn't seem specifically focused on wanting to kill Sonic in particular over anyone else. He just encounters Sonic a disproportionately high amount of times because Sonic is the main character. Also, he seemed to consider Shadow thoroughly revenged upon at the end of episode Shadow. He trapped Shadow in a state of virtual reality and proved he wasn't a weakling anymore. So hang up about Shadow resolved. But also, if you want to get revenge on Shadow, what better way than by killing Shadow's boyfriend Sonic? Right? Yeah, exactly. Also, this is a video about things I like about Sonic Forces, so you'll have to forgive this bit of shameless self-indulgence. But I love this giant snake from Luminous Forest. He eats Sonic, and it's awesome. Look at that swallow. Gosh dang, what a pred this snake is. I love it. And look, if you fail this QTE right off the bat, the snake just swallows him and goes off and it's game over. But if you hit the QTE, Sonic bops the snake and it's like, hey, no. But the snake swallows him anyway. But if you fail the belly struggle QTE, the snake still spits Sonic out and just slithers off in annoyance. Aw, what a nice bread. It's like he could tell Sonic was unwilling prey and was like, ouch, my snout. Jeez, I just wanted to eat you. Oh wait, you probably did that because you don't want to be eaten. Sorry, here, go back to whatever it is we were doing. Peace out. I always fail this series of QTEs because I feel bad about killing the snake. He's a nice bread. I think it's funny how the game basically ends with an environmentalism message. I mean, it's appropriate. The Sonic series has always been very nature versus industrialization in the Genesis games, and this game feels like it's carrying the spirit of the Genesis games. It's a modern Eggman takes over South Island, Animal Land, or whatever plot, just like Sonic 1 and 2 were. And this landmass is probably South Island and West Side Island mashed together, question mark? So it makes a lot of sense for them to be like, time to run back all this Teddy Roosevelt BS and go back to being adorable furries. And it's just kind of amusing to me. I don't know, I like it, okay? I also love how the title screen changes after you beat the game. The tense and focused foreboding music over the wide sweep of the Resistance base is replaced by the same interior being washed out of color with white, aside from a single yellow flower growing in the middle, while an instrumental version of Light of Hope plays. It shows how the conflict is finally over, and now after a hard-fought peace, time has now come to rebuild and set the world back to the way it should be. Game leaves you with some serious feels, man. Gosh, this game is just sublime, literally from beginning to end. I'm sure more than a few of you watching, if you've even gotten to the end of the video here, might write off a lot of what I've said. You might even say something like, I'm delusional for saying the game is good or whatever. But man, if you can't enjoy this game for the great experience it is, then I just feel sorry for you. It sounds like a mean thing to say, but so is saying I'm a dumbass for enjoying this game, so we're even. I can only ever speak for myself, but when this game first released, I felt like it was the new best Sonic game.
So, like, I feel like I don't need to justify that claim, but there's the evidence right there. This is the best Sonic game. Like, hands down, I know I'm hopped up. I know I'm kind of like, I just beat the game, so I might cool on this game, but, like, credits just finished rolling. I'm definitely confident in putting my foot down, putting my glove on the table, and asserting, hands down, this is the best Sonic game.
My feelings on that have actually changed since then, because now I don't even think there is such a thing as a best Sonic game anymore. They're all so great in different ways and for different reasons. They're all the best. Your favorite Sonic game? Guess what? It's the best one. Whatever one it is, including this one. That's just how I feel, man. I love all of Sonic's games. Maybe you'll say that means I have no standards or bad taste, or whatever. But like, I can't help it, dude. It's pretty much biologically impossible for me not to enjoy a Sonic game.
So like the Scream series, it's almost impossible for me to hate a Saw film.
I'm hopeful that maybe given a few years, this game will get a resurgence of appreciation, just like games like Unleashed have, now that the kids who played it as their first Sonic game are old enough to have opinions on the internet and stuff. Man, you know, it's hard for me to stay positive when it comes to talking about Sonic, because if you're not some Game Grumps follower who takes Aaron Hansen's words as gospel, even if you're in the Sonic fandom, you still see just endless hate and bile being spewed about this game or that game, this game specifically, and it just bums me out, man, because I love all of them. I see the good in all of them. I've been made to smile and laugh and cry by all of them, including Sonic Forces. Every time I replay Sonic Forces, I find myself thinking like, I don't get it, man. What is there to not like about this game? So this was my attempt to drive out hate with love. I could probably make a video like this for every game in the series. I kind of already did that for Sonic 06, for example. Anyway, that's my video about why Sonic Forces is a good game. I liked it. I hope Sega isn't discouraged by the toxic as hell internet discourse about this game. But even if they are, I have full confidence in them continuing to provide us with fantastic Sonic games, just like Forces was. Whatever comes next for Sonic, it'll be coming off the back of two incredibly good games. I have the fullest confidence that the next Sonic game is going to be just as good. and as with every Sonic game, I'll be ready to enjoy it to the fullest.